Hi there, we're back in the tiny kitchen, and this time I am going to just let the video stream, and so I'm going to be making the quiche that I did a few weeks ago, and I am following a recipe that I wrote down, so it's kind of a recipe. Anyway, I want to just do it streaming because I really want to record what I do and then go back, because a lot of times I make up stuff and I can't remember what I did after it's finished, but it tastes really good. So I'm going to record this as I'm doing it. So far I have in the food processor cashews, a few, and mac nuts, a few, and then nutritional yeast. And I'm going to add to that a tiny bit of lemon juice, a teensy bit of olive oil, and a clove of garlic. Now, there's a little trick with the garlic, and I'll show you that. And I'm going to put the camera down on the surface so that you can actually see where I'm working, because you don't need to look at me, you need to look at what I'm doing. Okay, so here we go. This is my surface. This is my little recipe that I'll stick over to the side here. I have some asparagus spears, and strangely enough, I have wasted now four times I bought asparagus and killed it. So this time I'm freezing it. I figure that way it will at least survive. So right now I'm going to make this crust. This is the crust for the quiche. Now the tip that I want to give you, these are cool. This is the coolest little thing to keep garlic in, and it just lives up there in the windowsill. And when I'm ready for garlic, it's ready for me. But there's a little trick to garlic. You know how garlic always tastes so strong, and it makes everything almost kind of unpleasant, particularly when you're dealing with raw. The garlic will be so strong until you don't even want to eat it, and it also gives you bad breath, and you know all the stuff that goes along with eating garlic. We all love it, but it has its downside. Well, there's a trick to dealing with garlic, that when you do this little trick, the garlic actually becomes rather mild. And so I'm going to show you this little trick, because once I found it out, I was totally thrilled. Now, this particular garlic clove has a whole lot of stuff going on here, but you see this, that little green part in there? That's what you want to take out. That's what causes the strong taste. So I take that out of the garlic clove before I use it. So I'm taking that out, and I'm putting that in my mix of my my crust, along with, and you take it out of both sides. You don't want any of that green part in there, because that's what's so strong tasting, and that's what makes it give you bad breath and indigestion and all the stuff that goes along with garlic that's not very pleasant. So garlic cloves, I am using actually grapeseed oil. Some of the purists will turn up their noses at me, but we're actually talking about 1/8 of a teaspoonful. So I don't think it's going to change our world considerably. And we're going to use a squeeze of lemon. Now, my recipe calls for a tablespoon, but that's because they're making a great big quiche, and I'm making a little bitty quiche. So I'm just going to squeeze this in there like that. And we are going to process it to the consistency of dough. Now, one of the things that you have to be cognizant of is with a small food processor that is not extremely powerful, a lot of times you're going to end up having to open it up and move stuff around in it several times in order to get it to the consistency that you want. And don't be afraid to taste your food to see if it tastes the way you want it to. That's good. But it actually needs a little bit of salt, just a touch. And this recipe calls for flaxseed and a little bit of flaxseed meal. And I am actually going to use because I feel like it's too oily, and I don't want it to be as oily as it is. I am going to put, because mac nuts are so oily, and that's what's making it as oily as it is. And cashews are actually kind of oily too. So I'm going to toss in a few soaked almonds. Now, normal quiche, you can eat a great big slice. This stuff is going to be very good. See this consistency? It's kind of like dough, but not quite. You're going to put that in the food processor, and in the dehydrator, and it actually will become like dough. And we're going to use flax seeds, golden flax, because it's the right color to make a nice yellow, like a crust. And we're using the coffee grinder to make our flaxseed meal. Now, I do not like the consistency, the slimy kind of thing that flax does. So I don't use very much flax. So this is about a tablespoonful. It's about a tablespoonful of flax. That's all I'm going to use, because otherwise it's going to have that kind of oily, slimy taste that I really don't like. However, I have a trick up my sleeve, which I will share with you. There's a trick that I'll share with you that will help your stuff to stick together. without being slimy. I am going to add some turmeric in here, both for the color, but also for its medicinal quality. You know, we're supposed to eat a lot of different foods in order to give us the health benefits that we need. But a lot of those foods don't taste very good, you know? I mean, somebody gave me a smoothie that had turmeric in it, and oh, yuck. I did not want that. So, it's got to taste good. And because it has to taste good, you have to figure out ways to put it all together that look good, that taste good, but you still have the raw benefits in it. And I have become very good at that. So, turmeric is going to, this quiche that we're making is going to be very turmeric rich. It's got it in the crust. And you have to put your flax in last because it's going to seize everything up. It's going to make everything go, So you need to put it in the very last thing. And I mixed it with the turmeric so that it would all be kind of all mushed together there. And here it goes. So you establish the flavor that you want. Yep, that's very good. Very, very good. It's got the floureriness of a crust. It's got a little bit of a kick to it because of the garlic. It's also got a little bit of a saltiness because of the nutritional yeast. So it's got all of the qualities that you want a crust to have. Now, there's one more thing. See that? Banana really holds things together. And we're only going to put a tiny bit of banana in here. But it's going to be enough to give it a touch of sweetness, and it's going to hold it together. Okay, I'm actually going to stop this now because we are going to put this crust into these little pie tins. And it's tedious to watch, so I'm not going to make you watch. But basically, once it's in here, we're going to put it in the dehydrator. It's going to stay in the dehydrator for about an hour. In the meantime, I will make the filling for the quiche. And then the filling just gets spooned into the quiche and into the pie tin, and it's done. And you push it out like this, and you actually have this wonderful little pie that is all together. So that's that for the crust. And we'll be back for the filling. Thank you for watching, and I think you guys are going to find that you can do this too. And it really does taste like quiche. Now I got a couple of little tricks with the filling that I didn't do the last time because, you know, this stuff is experiential. You do something and it's like, no, that didn't quite taste right. And so then you try a different thing. And maybe that does or doesn't taste right. But this time, for the filling, I'm going to use a couple of different ingredients that I didn't use before. Because the recipe originally, of course, is cooked. And then somebody did a raw recipe, and their recipe called for it to be dehydrated. And when I tasted it raw, Before I dehydrated it, I absolutely loved it. It was exactly like quiche, only it was a little soft. And so I'm like, oh, okay, the softness will go away when you dehydrate it. Well, yeah, it was not good dehydrated. So this time, I'm going to use a couple of different ingredients because remember, it's all about texture. And so I'm going to use a couple of different ingredients that I think will give us the texture of cooked eggs without being cooked eggs. So I'll see you shortly.